there, thanks for clicking onto this video. This video is about what blessings are coming to you in December 2024. So please think of a number between 1 to 4, and once you pick a number, timestamps are down below. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful December. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year's. All right, thank you. Bye. Hi Pile 1, thanks for clicking onto this video. This video is about blessings coming to you in December of 2024. So for your reading, we have the Money Manager, Unreliable, Offering, Goals, Great White Shark, Go For It, Strike When the Iron is Hot, Imagine, New Life, Five of Pentacles, Nine of Cups in reverse, Wheel of Fortune, King of Pentacles, Page of Swords, Six of Swords. For affirmations, we have I can do anything I set my mind to. I will not stop until I win. I am proud of who I am. So a message that is coming through is there might be some type of new offer coming in, whether it is being promoted to be a manager at your job or some type of higher position with Money Manager, Offering, and Goals. So if you had set your mind to it, this may be something that will actually happen. With the King of Pentacles, it seems like you will have a level up, or you'll feel really financially secure and very respected in your community or whatever it is you do for your job. And this might be a surprise to you because you might be financially unstable right now. However, with the Wheel of Fortune, I think something's going to turn around for you very unexpectedly. I did want to skip over to Unreliable and the Nine of Cups in reverse. So if you've been working with people who have not been ideal, maybe you have coworkers you just really dislike working with, or clients that are very difficult, very annoying, or other companies that you have to deal with to get a project executed. They're just so unreliable, a lot of conflict management, and not worth your time. I think you're going to be stepping out of that somehow, some way, magically, almost as if if you're contracted to work with a specific subcontractor and they're super difficult, maybe the subcontractor will randomly just decide to leave the job, and then now you can find someone else who would do it for much better work and for less money or something like that. Or you have that annoying coworker and she or he decides to leave the company, or your manager moves them around, or now that you are promoted to a manager, you will now, like you won't be working with them in the same field or the same level anymore. You might get a new project to take over as a manager, and then you'll work with a different assistant or engineer or colleague, whatever. So it seems something like that is coming in. This seems like a very heavy financial month for you. I think you're going to be focusing a lot on personal finances. Usually in December, obviously, we kind of think about our New Year's resolutions, and a lot of things we think about is personal finances. So you may be thinking about personal finances a lot. You'll be thinking about, how much did I make this year? How much do I want to make next year? How much did I spend this year? How much do I want to spend on these categories next year? So there may be an emphasis on budgeting, and there could be something about you doing like you stepping up in your personal finances, that you now energetically are ready to be a financial manager at your job. So maybe when you were just an employee, your finances were all over the place. You were spending on a bunch of unnecessary stuff, and it kind of always left you in this Five of Pentacles energy where you always felt as if you were on the brink of homelessness, or things could go really bad if you didn't get your next paycheck. You're stepping out of that and somehow developing yourself as the King of Pentacles. So going from the Five to the King of Pentacles is amazing. And although we may have regrets about how we handled money in the past, it matters on where we're going now. So you were able to maybe take a U-turn, or maybe not even U-turn, but you were going straight down a road and you didn't like where you were heading, and you decided to take a detour. And by you taking this detour, you're on your way to becoming a super stable person. You know, you might be focusing on building your network. You're maybe looking to buy assets instead of just purses and cars. Or maybe you're even going to downsize your car. You know, with the Five of Pentacles and Nine of Cups in reverse, you may have to make sacrifices that are very uncomfortable and honestly hurts your ego a bit, you know, to kind of go around looking less than you were once used to. However, you making these hard decisions will ultimately leave you feeling and feeling from the inside and knowing that you are well off. So maybe before you were driving like a $60,000 car and you may looked rich, but inside you always felt scared that you couldn't make your next payment. You always felt like you couldn't earn enough money. You always felt as if the carrot dangling in front of your face was getting further and further. But then now you're gonna do something where you'll feel in control. Like you will feel like you are driving your life. You will feel like you know where your money's going. You'll understand how you're making money. You understand what is making you money and how to make more money without, you know, without stressing about it before. It's there's there's a maturity happening for you, and it could be with the Page of Swords, like maybe taking personal finance courses or reading a personal finance book, listening to audiobooks about personal finances. And with the Six of Swords, it's like a mental leaving of something. So you're mentally leaving the old mindset that you used to have, where maybe you used to think every time you got money, you should spend it on something as like treat yourself. Rather than now, every time you get money, you're going to invest it so it can make you money. So there's something about that where you're going to be constantly curious about how can I make more money? Where should my money go for 2025? And so with Imagine a New Life, obviously in December, this is like a time when we start thinking about our New Year's resolutions. So if you're manifesting more money in 2025, you'll probably be writing down your financial goals, you know, dream big, you know, like if you had a house you wanted to purchase or a type of house and you are scared about making payments or anything, you know, you kind of have to push through the fear and like just dream big. You know, I'm not saying it'll happen in 2025 where you'll buy the house that you've always wanted, but maybe in 3 years you can, or maybe you'll be able to get a new job and that push you into a new salary bracket, and now you qualify for a higher loan, and then you can now pay for that house of yours. So, you know, I see a lot of financial planning, doing your vision board, and just thinking about how you can maybe afford things that you wanted to before. So rather than just thinking about buying, you know, a more expensive hoodie, you're gonna like think about maybe I should be focusing towards buying a house or buying investments. And so the message here is like really dream big and go for it. And you need to start envisioning yourself as that financially secure person. Like fake it till you make it. And I don't mean going to buy clothes to make it seem like you're rich, but you have to like fake that you are already like well off and that you're making decisions as well off people do, and then eventually you'll get there. There's something about leaving who you used to be, and 2025 is going to be completely new and very focused on your finances. So if you had like a dream house, dream car, dream position, dream business, dream investments, like go for it. Like definitely dream big. And there's like an energetic shift from the 5 of Pentacles with and then new life. Like you're leaving that. It's kind of like if you used to buy groceries at Walmart, which nothing is wrong with that, but then you start going to Whole Foods, and after you start eating Whole Foods and eating or farmers market or growing your own food, whatever, like you can never really go back to eating the quality at McDonald's and Walmart. It's something like that. But maybe but maybe right now you can only afford Walmart food, and so it's hard for you to imagine ever being able to cook meals solely off Whole Foods groceries. And but not saying that you need to go now and put yourself like at financial risk to just buy Whole Foods, but the example is that you need to start imagining life and like how and understanding people do buy from Whole Foods and like sustain their diets on that. So like one day you can be able to do that too, because hundreds and thousands of other people are too. And it's almost like bridging that gap, like you can have that life too. Um, and I am proud of who I am. So like leading with that example, some people might feel a little insecure that of where their financial position is in life. Maybe your friends are buying houses and you're still renting. Maybe your friends all drive nice cars and you still have the car you got from high school. And you need to be very, confident in who you are and confident in not needing to compare yourself to others as well. It takes a lot of maturity to realize that wealth is something that is not necessarily something that's seen. Like if Warren Buffett walked around or Elon Musk walked around, it'd be very hard to know that they're actually like, is it trillionaire? I don't know. Let's just say hundreds and hundred they're billionaires, but they're like the top three richest billionaires. So they have over 100 billion or whatever the amount is now, something crazy. You would never know though that they were worth that much. They are very low key people. So, you know, you may walk into Walmart and still buy Walmart groceries, but you could have like 100,000 in your savings or 50,000 or 10,000 or whatever the amount. But usually when people think of Walmart, people like people who shop at Walmart, it's like you're on a huge tight budget, you're probably living paycheck to paycheck and all these things, but you don't mind it. I know a lot of, like, when I speak to some people who I know are very well off, they actually tell me I look silly when I go buy brand name clothes and that they're still buying stuff from Walmart. And so there's like that mentality shift where, it's not about what you buy, what you wear. It's like how much money do you actually have in the bank, and how do you spend that money? Like, are you gonna go spend it to look rich or be rich? That was very confusing, and so I hope it made the point. I felt like I almost went backwards a little bit in my explanation of this, but just imagine a better life, and the financial choices you make will help lead you to the better life. So, you know, there'll be things you'll need to cut back on. So maybe you don't need the Whole Foods grocery, you're happy eating at Walmart, and then, with the money you save from eating out and all that, you are able to put into investments. Going back to your job though, I think there might, some of you could be offered a new position elsewhere, and the message is to go for it. If you have a business idea as well, go for it. Like there you with the King of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles isn't somebody who clocks in and out, and he's not just a manager of a company, although yes, he could. He's the type to have multiple streams of income. So you might be thinking about investing, getting a side job, getting a better paying job. You might be thinking about um, just like other ways to make money. So I don't know, investing in, I don't know, maybe you want to write a book, and books are considered passive income. You might want to start selling products. I don't, whatever it is, there seems like to be some type of new opportunity in money, whether you create it or you receive it from like a different company. I will not stop until I win. Unreliable, Nine of Cups. So a message I'm getting here is that if you're surrounded by people who you don't necessarily respect at work or in life, don't let them drag you down, and don't think that just because you're around them you can't get out of the situation you're in. So if all your coworkers are unreliable themselves, or not going anywhere in life really, or just cause a lot of drama, or your friends, they just spend their money on whatever, or constantly in debt and things like that, just because right now you happen to be surrounded by those people doesn't mean that you have to stay with these people. That sounds a little bit harsh, but like, wealthy people tend to have wealthy friends, or they tend to have friends that pull them up in some way. And it may not necessarily need to be money, but it's that mindset where they're not complainers, they're not victims, these people are like, wealthy people hang around generous people, smart people, um, literate people, educated people, and there's like levels to this. So if you're just surrounded by people where you're thinking, man, I hope I don't end up like them, just know that you won't, and you will be able to push yourself through. Yeah, with I can do anything I set my mind to. Like, dream big, have big financial goals. Um, it might seem really daunting now, but you could totally get there. I'm thinking about people who paid off an absorbent amount of credit card debt or their student loans. Like it may seem really bleak now, but you can totally do it because there's been other people who's paid off like 20, 30, 40, 60, whatever $1,000 of student loans, and they may not necessarily be able to file bankruptcy. So yeah. So that's the message I'm getting for you, Pal One. I hope this reading helped or resonated, and it sounds like a great month for you. So I hope you enjoy your December 2024. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Hey, Pal Two. Thanks for clicking onto this reading. So this reading is about your blessings in December 2024. So for your reading, we have a leg up, higher power, milk and honey. Why? We have don't give up now, you're almost there. Protect your assets. Don't be careless with what you've worked hard for. We got the Queen of Swords. We got the High Priestess, the Five of Wands, the Devil, the Ten of Wands. Reconsider a decision, growth, growing up, patience, motivator, investment. I clap for myself. I am never alone. So a blessing that's coming in is that you aren't going to give up on something you really, really wanted to give up on. So whatever it is that came into your mind when I said that, we're going to dive into that because there's a lot of cards about sticking it through. This seems like the pile that has been putting in a lot of effort somewhere or into something, and you haven't seen anything come out of it. it almost feels like you've been putting in way too much. You've been really patient. You've been, um, it just seems like, this isn't something you just did and kind of half did it. You put in a lot of effort and work into it. You know, you may have put in a lot of resources, your time or energy into it, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should just cut it off now. Um, but something that's coming up. Oh, there was also another card I missed. Everything serves a purpose. Give thanks to your body. So there's a big message coming through about divine timing. So I think so a few things. So don't give up on whatever it is. And I think in December you might get a little boost with a leg up higher power and milk and honey. You might see a little fruition of whatever it is you've been putting effort into. So if this is a job, you might get an award, or you might get a bigger bonus or something to kind of show that the company does like you. Or if you're posting a lot on social media, one of your videos might get a bump in views and you may gain a few subscribers or followers. If this is your business, you might sell out of a product, or it might not be super grand where you're an overnight success and you go completely viral and you can quit your job. It doesn't feel like you're gonna like win the lottery in any way, but you will get a small bump or a small victory that will give you enough hope for you to keep going. Um, with like, there's a message about a lot of times we think of people who are successful, we think they did it overnight. Like when we think of Elon Musk, we just think of him as a billionaire. Oh, and he is the founder of SpaceX and now owns Twitter and stuff. But people forget that when he was like a nobody, like in college, just being a genius software engineer or whatever, it took him a lot of work to like code. And I think he and a friend, I don't know the backstory, so you please fact check me, but I'm pretty sure his story was that he was coding and sleeping at the computer trying to develop PayPal. And it took a long time for PayPal to gain enough success where he could sell PayPal, and that's where he got his like millions of dollars to then fund SpaceX and things. But people kind of forget his background and his backstory. They kind of just see him now. Like, like he's just a billionaire. And people forget that it starts off with a lot of hard work and, a lot of very uncomfortable things. And we tend to focus on the success part. We don't focus on what it took to get there. And everybody's circumstances are different. So you may feel like you've been working super hard at something. It could be in something very competitive. It feels like something where you have to put in a lot of energy just to get noticed. It almost feels like everyone else is lucky compared to you in this. And, with the devil card here, what I'm getting, this is like a very competitive field. Like this is where people almost, maybe you feel like people sell their souls to get a head up, things like that. You feel like you have to do sketchy things maybe to get it, or cut corners like other people, or I feel like you feel like you have to, I don't want to say degrade yourself, but you almost have to become a slave at whatever this thing is. And the other message is that you don't have to. Like there's a balance between energies here. So like in the Bible, there's all these crazy stories about how God, when God chooses you for something, he will make it super easy for you to like walk through the craziest scenarios, even if the devil puts all these crazy worldly obstacles But it doesn't matter because God is on whoever's side. It was like kind of like, with David and Goliath, because God backed up Goliath, or God backed up David, and David just was, just doing his own thing. He probably was just like a shepherd and just working real hard as a shepherd boy. He wasn't training like a warrior every day like everybody else. But when it came down to it and he had to fight against Goliath, who was this crazy super freak warrior, it didn't matter because, God was on David's side. So you may feel like your competition is so big, or so, or it just seems like you'll never get a break, or there's no way you're going to be picked for something. Just know that you have higher help helping you. So, like, other people may not appreciate what you do, but God does. And so, I'm forgetting the quote in the Bible, but there's like a phrase where, like, God is watching at all times. This is such a butchering of the, the scripture, but essentially, God knows. And even if you think, oh, I don't have any followers, my boss has never noticed me, my projects are low key, nobody sees me at work, I'm usually just there by myself, things like that. For you in particular, I like, maybe that is the case, but like, there will be some type of recognition that happens, and it'll give you the energy to keep going. Um, if you think this is like, man, why do I have to go through this? Like, this sucks. Just know that, this time, these lessons you learn, even if you end up quitting your job and going somewhere else, the lessons you learned here will always help you at other places. For example, for me, I used to work at Panda Express, and I used to think, that fast food jobs were lame and just for kids to do something during the summer. But, Panda Express is actually a really good company because whenever we would clock in, there was this like piece of paper that would remind us that if we're not constantly learning and becoming better, we could be replaced. And I know that seems shocking or even offensive to some people, but to me, I was like, wow, this company actually cares for you, that they are telling you to level up so that you can stay competitive, And that might be hard for some people to see, but it they just said that, and a lot of people at Panda will start small, rather janitor, server, and then work their way up to manager, supervisor, district manager. And the crazy thing about Panda is that people will be there for like 10 plus years. And other people from other fast food companies would try to do their best to like go over to Panda because Panda would treat employees very well and stuff. And there's like a lot on education at Panda. Anyways, this is not to sell Panda Express by any means, but what I'm saying is that I like that clocking in and learning that you always have to be better, and you can be replaced. And it also taught, like, that lesson is very valuable at any job. You can't be complacent. you know you have to, like, you work so hard, yes, but there are other people working harder, and like, you can't be complacent wherever it is that you go. And even if you may not like where you're at right now, there's always a purpose to what you're doing. And God or life or opportunities will come up where that specific lesson you've learned will play a big part in your next chapter of life. So I think the blessing is recognizing that, or being content with that, and then also just like a physical reward to see that, your efforts are not wasted. I think or you another blessing is that you're going to be very mature and patient. You're going to realize that things take time, and maybe when you start looking deeper into success stories, you'll realize it was never overnight. and that people who quote unquote went viral have actually been posting for 6, 7 years. Or, people at work, you think they're lazy or they just got everything handed to them, but you didn't realize that they've been in the industry for like 15 years and they just learn like what's important to do and what's not important, and they're not stressing out over everything like new people are. Um, and you're like, man, why can't I be like that? And you just have to understand, some everyone's at different stages of life. Um, And, I think once you start realizing that other people have gone through the same things you felt, maybe in different situations, and of course, no one's story is ever the exact, but you won't feel like an outlier. Like, you won't feel like a victim anymore. You'll realize, like, other people struggle too. And even though maybe other people may not talk about it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist and that it's not your problem anymore. And even your problems are not necessarily maybe problems, Like you'll have like a mental shift in that way where you're proud of everything you have, you're proud of what you've done, you're proud of your accomplishments, you're proud of where you're going. Even if no one else may notice it, I feel like you'll start taking pride in yourself. You'll start like honoring everything that you've gone through. People might be like odd of like famous people's biographies and stuff, and you'll realize, my life was great too. Um, so yeah, I think that's it, pal. Two. That is the blessings coming for you in December of 2024. Looks like you might get a small prize in some way, so don't give up on whatever it is that you're doing. And yeah, I think you're gonna be very happy with this bump, or I keep saying bump for some reason, but it's like a surprise little nugget, you know, like a random gift. And it has to relate to something you've been working hard on. It's not just like a random $500 if you weren't working on something with money, It's like it's like a gift related to whatever it is you're working really hard on, and only you would know and appreciate it. I don't think everybody else may appreciate it the same way you do. And it's almost as if God is talking to you when he gives you this gift, like to let you know like he sees it. And so it'll fill you with hope. But yeah, so that's it. Thanks, Pile 2. Hope you have a wonderful December 2024. Thank you. Bye. Hey, Pile 3. Thanks for clicking onto this reading. This reading is about your blessings coming in December of 2024. So for your reading, we have unrealistic, unethical, Gaia, leadership, entertainer. You're on the right path. Keep going through the in-betweens. Reverse roles, live your own tradition, values, and norms. Your routine matters. Are you content with it? Stay in shallow waters. Sometimes superficial is enough. Chaos and conflict, yang. For tarot, we have the Ten of Swords, Seven of Swords, King of Pentacles, Six of Wands, and Nine of Cups in reverse. And then the last oracle card is actually time to go. So the message is very clear that in this December 2024, you're going to make a decision to leave something behind, whether that's a career, job, maybe even family, relationship. For some reason, though, it seems more with a group of people, more so than just like a relationship or a specific person, although it could be. But for some reason, I'm getting a community vibe where it deals with multiple people. So if it may not be one friend, it may be a group of friends that you're leaving behind. It may be, your coworkers, your project team. And yeah, but there's just a group of people in your life that you're sick of dealing with. They bring a lot of chaos and conflict. I think if you were to flip the role on them and if you were the one to bring chaos and conflict, they wouldn't tolerate it, I think, or they would make it it's kind of giving like when you give someone a taste of their own medicine and they can't handle it's like that. I think you're gonna like a blessing for you is that you're going to step into your power. And what does that mean? When stepping into your power means is like you're gonna be vocal, you're not gonna take their bull, and you're gonna stick up for yourself, and you're gonna put your energy, time, money, resources elsewhere. With the King of Pentacle and leadership, you're taking control of your life. Like you're not gonna stick around and just hang around with anybody because you need them. Like you're only at places because you want to be there. You only choose to like with entertainer card. Like I'm thinking about this video I saw of Lady Gaga and how she said that isn't it messed up that you guys have to pay me before I even sing for you guys? She's like, I cashed the check weeks ago or months ago, and you guys are barely like listening to me sing. And technically, she could have just canceled that place, and but like millions of people had already paid for her, or I guess not millions, but thousands of people have already paid her to sing. So for like with you, people have to pay for you to be there. It, it's like when Kanye says the party, like people like when Kanye I think there's a Kanye lyric where he says something about like someone said like you showed up late and then Kanye replies you should be glad I even showed up. I forgot what song it is, but I'm sure someone knows the song. It's a very famous song of his. Um but you're stepping into that power. You're stepping into that confidence. You're not you're not living in places you don't like. So if this is an apartment or neighborhood, you're sick of your neighbors, you're moving. If you hate your town, and that's a little bit drastic, but you're leaving. You're not sticking around. And this situation, like it sucks. There's a lot of lies, manipulations. There's a lot of hurtful things. There's a lot of stabbing in the back. It just seems like such a toxic place wherever or whoever the group you're dealing with. So, you know, I don't think I actually have to go in depth into this community or person or place because if this reading resonated with you, you'll know what I'm talking about. And you may have already had inklings about leaving. Um, you just, I think you tried your best to stick through it. You've reasoned it out. I feel like you've meditated on it, you've gone to therapy, you thought it out logically, you may have made a lot of excuses, but then now you're just thinking about, man, like I want to live a life where I don't have to constantly walk on eggshells. Like I want to just be me freely. I don't want to have superficial connections. I don't want to just I don't want to be around a bunch of sharks. And I feel like these people, like you can't trust them at all, and so you may keep it shallow with them. You you may deal with them and be cordial with them because you have to. So if these are your colleagues at work, you put on a friendly face with them, but like these people are just talking smack behind you. They're plotting your downfall. They won't help you. They'll give you misinformation. They'll purposely withhold information from you, maybe. And you're just thinking like, man, I don't have to put up with this. Like there are other companies who don't have these BS policies. There's companies that value employees. There are bosses and managers who will value me more so than where I'm at. Or if this is your family, with the holidays coming up, this is usually some people come to that. We're like, I'm not showing up to any more family gatherings. Like, thank you. Thank you very much. This is it. And it sucks, but I think you're at that point where you're taking like full ownership and command. Like, you're not gonna be bullied anymore. People used to like if you people at your family gatherings used to think they can pick on you and make fun of you, you just like walk away now. And that's where you step in your power. Like you don't even you're just like, all right, I'm gonna go work on my money. Goodbye. You know, like you're not gonna hang out with people who aren't paying you first or paying you respect first. It's kind of like it's kind of like, excuse me. I'm sorry you had to hear that. But it seems like no offense to singers, by the way, but there's some singers who will play for free on the streets for change, you know, and then there's singers like Lady Gaga and Mariah Carey where they don't show up unless there's millions and millions involved. And I'm not, these are very extreme examples. I'm not going to get to the nitty gritty that, Mariah and Lady Gaga start from very humble roots or whatever. It's not about that. The example to take away from is that you're no longer going to be playing for free or whatever people will give you, like a donation. You're like, no, no, no. I am super valuable and I'm not showing up until I know my energy, time, work is going to be paid and compensated appropriately, and I'm respected and I'm happy doing this. Like I'm not giving more than what I'm receiving. I'm not dealing with people who don't want to deal with me, but we have to for whatever reason. I'm not going to lower myself to be or to fit into like a community or place where I don't like. So if this is like a friend group, you're probably, you're just like, I don't even know if I like my friends. Like, they're all about, and maybe nothing's even really wrong with your friends, but there's something about what your friends do and what you want to do, and there's a conflict. And I have a feeling like you've made more sacrifices to be with your friends than vice versa. Is the message that's coming through. And at one point, you just have to kind of cut your losses and go separate directions. It is what it is. But the biggest blessing though is you stepping into your power and you just saying no. Another story that's coming into mind is there's this really huge, they're like the kings of K-pop and it's Big Bang, and it used to be five guys. And the guy I want to talk about is Top. So he was their rapper, and he adds like a deep voice to all the songs, and his voice is so iconic. And but he hated K-pop. He hated K-pop. He hated. I don't want to say he hated Korean culture, but there was like a lot of incidents that happened in Korean culture where I think the incident that threw him over the edge is when he was hospitalized and immediately upon consciousness, like they rolled him out just so paparazzi could take photos. And, Korean culture was very strict and he got in trouble for marijuana and things like that. And so long story short, like this guy hated K-pop. He hated the group of people he was around. He hated the paparazzi. He almost felt like, I'm sure K-pop fans will come after me and correct me, but he he wasn't having it. Like he was like so sick of it, and he pretty much ditched that world. And I think he started a brewery or something related to alcohol in Texas. And fast forward though, it was a recent Korean, I don't know, like a Korean K-pop award show, the Mama Awards in Japan. And Big Bang actually had a surprise performance. I don't think people were expecting it, but like these guys are like the kings of K-pop. So if they show up, it's gonna be like a huge deal. Like when their song started playing, the crowd went crazy and it's like a sold out stadium. However, like Top wasn't there. Like they probably would have paid Top a lot of money to show up. And it was like a big thing because I think it was one of the first times Big Bang performed again. There have been like scandals and stuff, but technically he was he wasn't outcasted like one of the other members. The other members like became a criminal and, blacklisted forever. But Top could have came back, I think. But he was just like, no, like not going back there. Doesn't matter like that we were the king of K-pop and the fans would have loved me. He didn't care. He was just like, I'm on to my life. He wasn't content with his life as a K-pop star, and he didn't want to deal with K-pop and everything that comes with it. I'm sure his company and the people around him were very toxic and unethical themselves. And, he was like, I'm leaving. He totally took ownership of his life. People were like shocked, right? People like really try to get him to stay. I'm pretty sure like people really try to like hold him back. And he was like, nah, man, I'm leaving. He's like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. He like, and now he's happy elsewhere. He doesn't need Big Bang and like performing in K-pop like he used to. It almost feels like they needed him actually because they still used his voice in the backtrack. Because if it wasn't for his voice, it wouldn't have that nice bass and they, no one in his group can replicate his voice. They can maybe rap the lines like G Dragon can rap the lines, but his voice, like Top's voice, is very, very distinct. Like nobody in K-pop really has it. And because of him, actually, a lot of the new K-pop boy bands have to have a deep voice member to kind of mimic what he did for Big Bang. Okay, so anyways, going back. So this is like a deep month for you to like realize your worth and to leave behind people who don't see it, leave behind places that aren't for you anymore. There's something really unique about you that maybe you haven't been tapping into. Um, and I think you'll just be as prosperous with or without these people. I think there's something about you where, you never really needed these people. You may have thought you needed them, and that's why you were, because at some time, like at some point, right? I'm not saying like you use them, but at some point, you may have started out on the same level, same intentions, same frequencies, but then over time, as you grow and develop, you know, you change and people change, and that's okay. And maybe for the longest time, you weren't honest with yourself about changes that you were making and who you wanted to be, where you wanted to go. So you held yourself back. And when you start lying to yourself, you start attracting like people who will lie to you in a sense as well. So like attracts like. And so even though you may think, oh, these people are unethical and like they might be outright lying to you, but you may have been lying to yourself and pretending to be somebody you aren't. Like you may want to go in a completely different direction than where you're at, but you've kept yourself hidden and wore a different type of mask, right? You may not have been outwardly harming other people, but you were kind of harming your own soul. So that was like a deep dive into this, but so seems like a leaving of something behind, and I think after that, you know, you're just gonna feel really empowered, and then you'll start attracting people who will empower you and situations. So yeah, thanks, pile 3. These are the blessings you can expect for 20 or December 2024. All right, thank you. Have a great day. Bye. Hey, Pile 4. I decided to film an intro for this pile because I want to put in a disclaimer that this video is not to provide any professional or legal advice, and so you'll know what to do that is best for you. If this pile does not resonate, please choose another pile. But yeah, I did want to preface this one. This one is a very specific situation, so you'll know if it's for you if you stick it through the end. But yeah, I don't want you guys to kind of think this will happen to you if it isn't already resonating. So the message in the pile was mainly it's about a situation you've been going back and forth in your head for a long time. So it's something that is kind of coming to a final stop in December. But if you don't have situations that's been stressing you out for a long time, this is not the pile for you. So I just wanted to click on that and provide that disclaimer. So if you do have a situation that's been bothering you for a super long time, please stick around and maybe this is for you. But reminder, this is not professional or legal advice. So thank you. All right, hope you enjoy. Bye. Hey Pile 4, thanks for clicking onto this reading. So this reading is about blessings coming towards you in December 2024. So for your reading, we have growth, change, emotions, legal, work smart, unexpected guests, someone will be visiting you soon, power of choice, place your attention on gratitude, protect your home, take care of your sacred space, not for you, come to the edge, never-ending story. For tarot, we have Page of Swords, Ten of Swords, King of Cups, King of Swords, Justice, Seven of Pentacles. For affirmations, we have I am divinely guided, I am a strong person, I believe in my abilities and talents. So the message that's coming through is if you are going through any legal issues, I think you'll be able to this seems almost as if you've been weighing out starting a legal case and you're finally realizing like enough is enough in something. So this, if this doesn't resonate, it's not for you, but it feels like you could be filing for divorce, you could be filing a lawsuit, you could be going back requesting more child support, you could be ending a contract, you could be I don't know, breaking an agreement, you could be changing, if you're a boss, you could be firing an employee. It seems like a negative, quote quote, negative legal case, and you're finally going to be able to just cut it. So you'll be cutting your losses in a sense. We just had like legal and justice come out, so it seems, like a legal matter. And it seems like something you thought you would never be able to do, but you're finally able to kind of cut the cord. There's also like an emphasis of balancing your emotions versus your logic. So there must have been a battle of the heart versus the head and whatever this is, but there might be like an abrupt thing that comes and you can't ignore it anymore. With unexpected guests, someone will be visiting you soon, like maybe you'll be finding out about a lawsuit, or maybe somebody is wanting to end things with you, and at first you may think like you don't have a choice, or you might think like, oh, why is this happening to me? But you'll realize like this might actually be a very empowering decision. So let's say that you decide to break a contract or fire a contractor. You realize you were giving this person the benefit of the doubt for the longest time. You thought this company or employee or whatever will step it up, and you give them so many chances. But you realize that even though it may cost you a bit of money to go through the legal stuff to fire them, you realize you'll save money in the long run, because you've already wasted so much money hoping they'll change, and they're going to cause you even more financial burden if you kept them on board. I'm thinking of like employees who, like, this third strike, right? They've already had 3 strikes and you're going to give them a 4th chance, and then the 5th chance comes by and they just do something like you can't even make excuses for them anymore. So if this is a spouse, you may have been trying really hard to like make things work with them. You love them, you you think they'll change whenever, it's you'll think they'll change the next time around, and something, you'll come to terms with it. You're like, no, this thing no more. I'm not dealing with this for the 100th time. Like, my investments in you are not showing anything. I am leaving. There's something about you really protecting what you do have. You're not going to risk whatever little that you already have left. And I think for December of 2024, these are all very logical decisions. So, if this has to deal with your kids, you're just thinking, how do I get money for my kids to support them? You're not sitting there empathizing for, the mother or father. And, like, maybe you used to be like, oh, the mom can't pay her child support, or the dad can't pay her child support because of XYZ. And you're just now being like, you know what? And or you realize like that other partner or spouse was actually spending money on very frivolous things, and you're like, you know what? No. So then you go to court, and then you increase your child support. And, and it probably took you a lot of effort to get there. These aren't easy decisions. This is something like you've given a lot of time for. It feels like even like months, years, It's something that you yourself have probably put in a lot of money and time into, and a lot of emotion. You and you may have thought you've never been able to do it without them. So if this is a spouse, you always thought like, oh, I need my spouse. I need my spouse to raise my kids, pay for the home, buy this, live that. But you'll actually see a lot of videos where people said that after they cut their dead weight partner, they've been able to make more money, live in a better home. They enjoy being at home more because they're not fighting, and like the environment is nice and peaceful. Men and women, like, I don't think it's just men who are awful spouses. I think women can be very, very toxic too. So this, like, um, so you this is something that you're just like you're cutting it, or you're just gonna make sure that you're not going to be on the losing end of it anymore. And it's been something that's going on, and like, you're not playing the games with this situation or the person anymore. If this is like at a company, and let's say you're working with um a contractor, and they're just like constantly like messing up, and now you realize your project is pushed out like 3 months, and your client isn't going to pay for those extra 3 months. Like, that's on your company, because you guys promised to deliver it before the 3 months, and now you need to extend it. Well, okay, well, the client may accept that the project will be delayed, but they're not going to pay for the extra months it takes to build it. So your company may be pushed into the corner to just cut the ties, cut the cords. And you may have worked with this other company for years. This other company may be very well, may have helped you at one point, but in this situation, if you keep going with this other company, you guys might, you might be at a huge financial loss, even more so than, having to deal with the uncomfortable legal contracts of firing them from the project. Maybe this is also with rent. So with rent, I'm thinking like maybe you're paying a lot of money at your current apartment, rent, mortgage, I don't know, and you're realizing like, this is costing me more than it's worth. And then breaking a contract or a lease agreement, sometimes it's a lot, right? It's like, I think some places charge you 2.5 months of rent to break an agreement, but you found a place that is half the price for more space, or you're just willing to pay half the price because like your lease might go on for another 8 months. You can either cut your loss and just pay the 2.5, but you end up saving a lot more money over the remaining 8 months at the new place. And maybe the new place, like, it gives you, it's safer, you know maybe, or maybe you're willing to pay more to go live at a safer place rather than deal with like crime or whatever, or it's unsafe for you and your kids. But maybe you had an emotional tie to that place. Maybe that's where your family is close by, or you always wanted to grow up in this, your kids to grow up in this neighborhood, or something, or maybe your friends all live there. There's like an emotional reason why you stuck it out with whatever the situation is. But in December 2024, you're just going to make the smart decision for yourself. You're not going, and there'll be something that kind of like happens where you're like, okay, I can't make any more excuses for this situation, this person, this company. It's done. Trying to think of other examples, but could be doctors. You're sick and tired of your doctor, so you request to change your physician. And maybe you've been with this physician since you were a kid, and you realize this physician they're not keeping up with the new technology, the new research. They're outdated, and you don't feel like you're getting the best care that you have. But maybe this person has been your doctor for like 10 plus years, since you were a kid. But you decided and then maybe the doctor ended up messing up really bad, where you can't even cover for them anymore, where you're like, all right, I have to switch physicians now. Yeah. So, and you might feel like you have no choice either, but you will always have a choice. You can always choose to continue with the norm. Like, no choice is a choice, or no action is a choice. Like, you doing nothing is a choice. And so I think you're going to decide to do something, and it's going to be very uncomfortable. But if you don't deal with this uncomfortable thing now, it's going to get even worse. And you're just gonna, you're gonna develop a self-confidence where you start believing in yourself and to believe you'll get through it. If this is a divorce, maybe you're scared of being a single parent, but like, how many single parents do we know that have made it out okay? It's hard. I'm not saying like go. This is something you've thought about, right? So it's gonna be hard, and it's not easy. I'm not trying to say that becoming a single parent is easy, but what I'm saying is that you might have a lot more power in this than you thought. And sometimes like the exchange of what you're getting from this other party or person, company, it may not be worth it in the long haul. You may think it is, but it may not be. So yeah, it seems like there's like the straw that breaks the camel's back moment in December, and then you'll be able to start something new, or you'll put an end to it. So I guess I'll pull more cards. So what will happen after this decision is made? What will happen after pile 4 cuts this, makes this decision? What will happen after poised? Okay, so you're gonna be happy. Like, there's like a progression in these oracle cards where like it's sad, dark, depressed, and then all of a sudden it's like free, and this fairy looks like it's jumping, while the other fairies look like so sad. What will happen after pile 4 makes this decision? Deep knowing. So you may doubt yourself now, but I think after you make this decision, you'll realize in your heart and soul, like, yes, I made the right decision. This was what was best for me. And it may have taken a long time. You have the fates and community. So you'll be able to rebuild. You'll be able to rebuild. If you might be able to find someone better, or a better contractor, a better company, better place, and you'll be able to rebuild and it'll be like more calm. Yin. Okay. Yeah, you'll be able to feel much more relaxed after you made this decision. So this this is like a decision that you've been pondering for a long time. Like this isn't something that, like, you probably would have clicked off this video already if it didn't resonate with you. You probably, this is something that you've been mulling over for the longest time, and it's probably been stressing you out. It stressed you out, but then I think after you make this decision, it'll be freeing for you, and then you can like relax a bit more. It's kind of like when you like you avoided paying your bills, and let's say that you've been avoiding paying your bills, and so you've been getting fines, and you've been stressed out about paying the fines and paying that bill, and taking a hard look at the bill. You've been avoiding the bill for the longest time, but you know that if you don't pay the bill now, it's going to get worse and worse. I'm thinking about how in California, if you don't pay your toll fee, like the toll fee is like $30, but what's crazy is the late fees. The late fees are like anywhere from like $50 to $100 if you're late. And so if you like, I've known people who racked up like $800 and above for not paying their tolls. You know, it gets crazy, and they keep avoiding it. And so this situation seems the same. It seems like it's something you're not afraid to like look at the numbers, look at the time, you know, like when you look at a bill, you'll see when that you got the fine and how long it's been since you haven't paid. So you're going to have to take a hard look at when did this problem happen? How long has it been since I'm avoiding it? And what's going to happen if I don't continue? So your toll bill may be 800 now, but if you keep going and you don't pay it after December, it's now like 1,200. You know, it's now $100 a week, and maybe it'll be worse. Maybe the fine will be so much, and they'll finally put a stop to it, and then they'll just put a boot on your car, or they'll take your car. I don't know. I don't know what happens when you don't pay your toll bills, but it's something like that, and you've been like stressing about it, and then after you paid it, even though it sucks going through it, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to worry about my bill anymore. I'm so glad I paid it. I'm so glad I can like move on with my life and relax now. And I can drive my car in peace without knowing that it has like a huge ticket attached to it. You know, it's going to be very freeing, whatever this decision it is. So yeah, that's what I have for you, Pal 4. Thank you so much for clicking onto this video. I hope this video resonated, and I hope you have a wonderful December 2024. Thank you. Bye.